Welcome, and we're going to start looking at the 5-a-day higher plus. Now, this could well be the first one you're looking at as it's the 1st of Jan. Very quickly, I'm just going to run through a couple of things. Firstly, do make sure you've had a go at each question first. It's really important you've tried the questions rather than just watch me do them. Also, I'm not doing it every day because I really want to encourage you to visit the Corbett Maths websites. They're very good. Their topic worksheets are excellent. And so this is really just to help you along your journey. Let's go. All right, first day. So you see you've got a nice little mix of questions. The great thing about these sheets is there's different sorts of questions each day. Pause the video each time, have a go, and I'll explain how it's done. So question one. All right, so question one is, as it said, it's a prove question. So it wants you to prove that something is always odd for all positive values. It should really say positive values that are integers. Annoys me a little bit, but that's just because I'm a nerdy mathematician. You don't need to write that. You don't need to worry about that unless you do A level, in which case you will do. How do I approach this question? Now I need to take the algebraic expression I'm given and rearrange it to look like something that means an odd number. So let's just take the expression itself. 2n plus 2 squared minus 2n plus 1. Be very careful to expand it. So however good your algebra is, just don't risk throwing away easy marks for making silly errors. And the error you're going to make here is minus 1, not plus 1. So that's very common. Then I'm going to collect terms, which is going to give me 4n squared plus 6n plus 3. The way this will be marked is we'll be looking for that expression. So if you've written down plus 5, you won't get the mark because you've done some bad algebra. Then what I need to do is I need to put this in the form 2 times something plus 1. So I'm going to write it like this because that is very clearly in the form 2 times something plus 1. Now this is where GCSE compared to A level is different in that it is definitely at GCSE more flexible in what it'll let you get away with. But I would say get in the habit of writing the thing it wants you to write. So it wants you to understand that because this is in the format of 2 times something plus 1, don't worry about that. That just means k is an integer. A level again, you'll need that a lot more. So because it's of the form 2 times something plus 1, it is therefore an odd number. I've answered the question, I've given a reason, and I've algebraically explained why. First question done. Next question. So the next question tells us to rationalize the denominator. Now these questions have become much harder recently. So this is, I would argue, a basic skill. So have a go at this one. All right. So for this one here, if the thing on the bottom, if the surd on the bottom has a plus or a minus, you're going to do the difference of two squares method. If it's a surd, it could be a number times a surd like 2 root 3, but if it's a surd, you multiply top and bottom by whatever the surd is. So I've done this over here on the right, top and bottom by root 3. Root 3 on the denominator, root 3 times root 3 is 3. Expand the bracket on the top and you get 3 root 3 plus root 6. Again, remembering that root 3 times root 2 is root 6. You could also leave it like this if you wanted to, as in you could break it into two different terms. Either of those will get you the marks, so that is fine. Next question. Okay, this has become a bit more common recently. So it wants you to do something with a function when you don't know what the function is. So over here you can see it gives you a function and then it will say sketch the function when I've done a transformation to it. Now you don't need to know this, but you do this again at A level. This is a constant theme with this first day. It doesn't happen throughout the year. Is I know this formula here, or the function, is a mod of x minus 1. Don't worry if you don't know what that means. It just means the absolute value, but you'll learn that next year if you do A level maths. What I've then done is I've then highlighted various points, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the transformation to those points there. So what is the transformation? The transformation takes f of x and then adds 1 before I do the transformation. So in other words, I'm going to minus 1. I'm going to do that earlier, so it's going to be a minus 1. And some teachers teach it as do the opposite. If it's inside the bracket, that's fine as well. But the point is, the way I'm going to write it is I'm going to say that I'm going to take away 1 from each x value, and I'm going to leave each y value as it is. So if I do this example here, the number on the left is minus 4, 4. Minus 4 take away 1 is minus 5. Leave the y values, that gives me 5, 4. Obviously, it's fallen off the graph, so that wouldn't happen in an exam. It'd be a bit neater in an exam. Very carefully join them up, so it's a similar sort of sketch. For these sorts of questions, the point of the question is you are sketching, so the marks are for doing it accurately and neatly. So ruler out, do it properly in exam. Next question. All right, so we got a composite functions question. And a composite functions is really saying, do you know which order to do f of g of x in? And the way to think about it is, as I've just said it actually, you're doing f of g of x. So in other words, you're doing f onto g of x. G of x is just an expression here. So the expression is x squared. So therefore, I'm doing f 2x squared. What does f do? F multiplies by 3 and adds 2. So therefore, my answer is going to be 3x squared add 2. Not terrible. Not too bad at all. Next one, g of f of 5. So as I've just said, that means g of f of 5. So let's do f of 5. So that's going to be 3 times 5 plus 2. And then I'm doing g to whatever that is. So let's resolve that first. So 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17. G of 17 means, can I do 17 squared? And 17 squared is 289. First day done. Well done if you got all of those. Again, the point of this is you're going to try lots and lots of different questions. So you go into that GCSE exam absolutely on top of all the topics. Really helps the channel. If you could like the channel, please do subscribe. Again, helps you see everything come up each day. And of course, leave a comment if you have any questions. Thanks all.